Honey Badger here. Got a call from a tenant, said that the house wasn't cooling. Came out to take a look at it, and the looks like the condenser fan is seizing up. I already checked the contactors. I'm getting 240 volts across the contactors, so the fan's getting power. The capacitor was reading 4 mic. It's supposed to be 5, so that could have caused some maybe premature heating of the motor. I replaced the capacitor, so I'm back to 5 mics. Still, when I engage the contactor, it just makes a lot of noise. Barely turns, just very kind of slowly. So time for a new one. So let's get to it. Take off all the screws, and I'm going to be replacing this with a universal. I couldn't find the exact match, so I'm going to replace this. This is a 3-wire. I'm going to replace it with a 4-wire, which also has the 4 wires allow you to reverse the direction if you need to, so I shouldn't have a problem there. Found a good match at Granger, and as you can see, this one rotates this way, and so that's what I'll need to do. Alright, here we go. Step 1, pull your disconnect. You don't want to be working on a live system. Step 2, remove all of these screws around here. Step 3, pull the panel. A couple of screws here. Got to pull the panel out and disconnect the wiring to the fan. Okay, you can see the original wiring harness comes through this protective shield here, and it comes out up here. Let's see, right here. It's kind of hard to see. Right here. These 3 wires right here. So we got purple wire, I guess that's purple. That's going to the common. We've got the fan wire going to the fan on the capacitor, and we got the black wire going to the contactor right here. And so those 3 wires need to be removed before I can pull this out and pull it loose. And that's all there is to this guy here. Okay, these are the 3 wires. I'm just gonna cut off the ends to make it easier to pull through this here when I lift the fan off. Okay, this is really kind of weird. I checked this yesterday. I removed the 3 wires and I checked the resistance of the windings, and I got like 23, 38, and 61. So 23 plus 38 equals 61. So the windings were okay. I verified I was getting 240 volts across the contactor, so it was getting power. So I thought it would be seized, but I mean, maybe it is a little bit, but it's moving somewhat smoothly. But I mean, it's got to be the motor, because the capacitor reads 5 microfarads and I'm getting power. And I even just came back here to the contactor, and I thought, well, maybe it's not getting up onto the I do have power off, mind you. It's not getting up here. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. This is where it was connected. So I ohmed out from down here, the input side, to the output side, manually pressed in the contact switch, and I get 0 ohms. So I'm getting continuity through the contactor to that point. So I know that the fan's getting power, and it's 5 mic, but I'm just not getting the fan to spin, and it's making noise. I really thought it would be more seized up than that, but I guess not. Still gonna go try another one. So next thing I'm gonna do, I placed an order for the other motor, but I want to bring the old one in and just do a double check on all the characteristics before I bring it back here. So I'm going to take the fan off from here first, and then remove it from the fan guard. Okay, this is kind of hard to pull off by hand, so I'm just going to use a claw hammer. I'm going to get right down in there, right up against the bottom of this of the round mounting piece. So I'm not actually on the fan, and I'm against the motor, and then I can just pull it out like that. And there you have it. It's the easy way to do it. So now I'll just take the motor off and head to Granger. Actually, one more thing I'm going to do before I leave is get in here and just spray some water through these coils. They don't look too bad on the inside, but I'll just spray them, get them a little cleaner on the outside, and then that'll give everything a chance to dry while I'm gone. Okay, this is the motor I just picked up, and I'll show you what it is. And definitely could not do that with the old one, so I guess it was binding some. So that's definitely going to solve that problem. And I just wanted to show you also the OEM motor mount to these inner holes, but if you've got this type of an arrangement on your top, the studs will fit through these outer holes, so you will be able to attach this motor without having to drill any holes, which is what contractors sometimes have to do. Just so you know, this was the original motor from Trane, and it has, instead of these studs, it had these 4 mounting holes, and you would use these screws here to attach, and so those attached here, you know, here on the inside. But if you buy a universal with these studs here, and you have this type of an arrangement, they can just fit on the outside holes. So it'll also just show you, you know, if you do have this one, I can show you that this motor will work. Now the next thing to do is to mount the fan blade. Now on this old motor, you can see actually where the set screw is hitting up here. The collar was actually, the end of the collar was flush with this, and so when I looked from the side, it was, you know, right about up to here, so pretty close to the motor. So I want to do the same thing on this motor, which has a really long shaft, but it's going to need to pretty much seat down here at the bottom to be equivalent to the other motor. And I already tried the blade on here, and these will interfere with the turning of the blade if I mount it that low, so I'm going to cut these off. Okay, I've got this fan blade on here, and you want to tighten it up along the flat of the shaft. Make sure that that set screw is along the flat of the shaft, and that you've got it set out, you know, approximately as far from the housing as the other one was. And you'll see that I cut off all of the bolts so it will spin freely. So then the next thing you also want to do is verify that you have your universal motor set in the proper direction of turning. So there's actually a sticker on this that shows which way it needs to go, and basically you want it to push the air up and out of the unit, so that would be this direction. You know, the blade's angled this way. It's going to push the air up when you go in this direction. So this would be, from the shaft end, it would be clockwise. From the lead end, it would be counterclockwise. So I'm looking at it, here's the leads. If you're looking at it from this direction, this is the way we want it to turn. No, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. No, that's right. I'm looking at it upside down. Okay, yeah, this is the way you want it to turn, because it's going to be mounted upside down. You know, this is going to be the top. So this will be pushing the air up. So from the lead end, this would be a counterclockwise direction. So if you look at the sheet here, or the diagram here, it states rotation is counterclockwise, CCWLE, counterclockwise from the lead end. And then if you need to reverse the direction, you would change these so that you would connect yellow to orange and orange to yellow. You just basically swap these two connections to turn it the other way. But this one is already wired in the proper direction. This motor also has a ground wire, which is not needed because the motor is attached to this, and this will be tied to the frame here through the various screws. So I'm just going to cut this ground wire off. Okay, the next thing you might be asking is, I have all these wires that go through the conduit, but what about these wires that just kind of hang out here? You can zip tie them to the frame if you want, like right here. I'm going to use a piece of PVC pipe that I have laying around. I cut off a section. I'm just going to stuff them in the pipe and then zip tie the pipe. That way the wires will be a little more protected from the elements. Okay, so that's what that looks like. These are UV resistant cable ties, but you probably want to go check every 6 months or so and make sure that none of them have broken off. You don't want this whole thing flying off. They're not all going to break at the same time, but if you see that they need to be replaced, be proactive about that. But you should be fine. I got four ties. They're not all going to break at the same time. So okay, next I'm feeding these wires. Got 4 wires to feed through: black, white, brown, and brown with stripes. I'm going to feed these through till they come out over here. I got the cover back on because I was watering. But when they come out over here, and then I'll be able to pull them through as I flip this over. I won't be able to record that. So I pulled the cover off to get these wires, and I heard a humming sound, so I noticed that the contactor's pulled in, so it must be getting pretty warm in the house. I think I had it set to like 84 degrees or something like that, so it must be calling for cooling. So that is a good sign. I'm glad that it's pulling out. So when it's in like this, you should read 24 volts AC across here and here. But the power is off, so I mean there's no high voltage in here. This is coming straight from the upstairs unit, 24 volts. So that stays on all the time. So they're not wanting to push through all the way. I think this thing makes a turn or something like that, or maybe there's a connection. It's not. It looks like it's, I don't know, maybe there's a kink in it or something. So what I'm doing is I cut off one of the old wires. I pushed it through from the other end, and then I'm going to just tie some of the wires here and pull them through, see if I can get them through that way. So I got the other end of the wire here, and I can just pull it through. Okay, this is what that looks like. So hopefully by pulling and pushing at the same time I can get them all through. And just because I'm me, I decided to run one more zip tie around both this and the hose. Just hold that hole assembly tight. So that's how it looks from up top. Now we just need to wire it. Okay, so what we got left here is a black wire, a white wire, a black wire, a brown wire, and a brown wire with stripes. Now this is a 4-lead universal fan, and I'm replacing a 3-lead. So if you want to do that and you want to use your dual run capacitor, which I'm going to do because it takes 40 plus 5 mics, and the new motor also takes 5 mics, so I don't need to have a separate, I don't want to have a separate cap. I just want to do everything with the one cap. So the way you do that is you no longer need this wire, the brown with the white stripe. So I'm going to strip it and then cap it inside here. And the reason I'm capping it inside here is because it's a live wire and I don't want to cut it out there. So it's much better to just run it through and then cap it here. And then I'm probably just going to cut the ends off of all these because they're just so darn long, and I'm just going to put the right terminals on each of these leads. The black wire is going to go over here, up here. The brown wire is going to go to the fan lead. The white wire is going to go to the common of the compressor. And that's it. That's wired. Okay, I used some shrink wrap Spade connectors, and it's ready to get plugged in here. Like I said, the black goes over here, the white goes to the common, and the brown goes to the fan terminal on the capacitor, and then the white goes to the common terminal on the capacitor, marked C. Now that it's all in place, do not forget to put your screws back on, or you will be in for a rude surprise when you kick this thing on. Okay, we are all hooked up here, the white, and here with the brown. Whoops, here we go. Here with the white, here with the brown, common, fan over here. I can't even see this. Here we go. Common and fan. So time for the moment of truth. There we go, baby. We are blowing out in the right direction. It's all good. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hope it was helpful to you. Hope you don't never have to do this, but if you do, you know, this cost me about a little over $200 to do. Probably would have cost $1,000 more to have a technician do it. So I hope this gives you the confidence to say, hey, I can do this myself. Honey Badger out.